All right, let's jump right into one of the biggest head-scratchers in all of modern physics. When you get down to the tiniest level, our universe, it seems to run on pure chance. Quantum mechanics, which is our best shot at explaining that subatomic world, is basically built on probability. But what if all that randomness? What if it's just one big illusion?
I mean, that's a question that gets to the very heart of physics, right? Is everything, from where a single electron is going to pop up, all the way to the ultimate fate of the cosmos, is it all just a big cosmic lottery? Well, there's a Nobel Prize-winning physicist who says, no way. And his idea? Well, it might just flip how you think about reality on its head.
So let's talk about Gerard and Hooft. Now, this isn't just anybody. He's a Nobel laureate. So when he talks about the fundamental nature of the universe, you better believe people listen. And he's making this really provocative claim. He's saying all that randomness we see in quantum mechanics, it's not real. He thinks that underneath all the chaos we can see, there's a deeper, hidden layer of reality that's actually perfectly predictable. Clockwork.
And his whole argument really boils down to this one simple idea. Hoofd is basically saying that quantum mechanics feels like a game of chance for one reason and one reason only, because we're missing some of the puzzle pieces. He thinks that if we could see everything, all that hidden information, then poof, the probabilities would just disappear, and what would be left is a universe of pure clockwork certainty. So this all comes down to a concept he calls an underlying order. Hooft is proposing that there's a real, objective blueprint for the entire universe, a set of fundamental rules that every single particle and field follows, no exceptions. And our job as scientists, it's just to find that blueprint. All the weirdness we see in quantum physics, that's just a big signpost telling us we haven't dug deep enough yet. I mean, it's a really elegant and honestly kind of comforting idea, right? A predictable universe, all laid out, just waiting for us to discover it. But what if that whole search for a hidden blueprint is just a wild goose chase? Some critics are saying Hoofd might actually be right, that reality is predictable, but for a totally different and way stranger reason. Okay, so the pushback against his idea really comes down to three key things. First, this big assumption that information is some fundamental piece of the cosmos, and not just, a concept we humans came up with. Second, the idea that his particular vision of an underlying order is the one true objective reality. And third, and this is the really interesting part, is the possibility that, yeah, the universe is predictable, but it has nothing to do with some hidden code. And this really gets to the core of the whole disagreement. Is information something we find out there in the world, or is it something we make up in our heads? See, for Hoofd, information is real. It's the key that unlocks the universe's true nature. But for his critics, information is just a really powerful tool we invented to describe the patterns we see. It's not a building block of the cosmos. It's more like a ruler we made up to measure it. Yeah, the critic's objection gets right to the point with this idea. The universe probably just doesn't need Hoofd's special blueprint to work. Reality just is. This whole concept of a pre-written ordering for every single particle, well, that might just be a very human invention, a story we tell ourselves to try and make sense of it all. Okay, so if we toss out the idea of a hidden blueprint, are we just back to square one, stuck with that random cosmic lottery? Well, not necessarily. The critic throws out this really mind-bending alternative, a universe that is somehow both perfectly predictable and has no underlying order. Wait, how is that even possible? Yeah, just let that sink in for a second. Predictable, but with no blueprint. I mean, that's a radical idea. It's suggesting that predictability doesn't need a pre-designed set of rules, that the universe can run like a perfect machine without having some instruction manual baked into its very fabric. Okay, let's try to trace the logic here, step by step. First, you just start by assuming reality is a complete predictable machine. Step 2, and this is the big jump, is that this machine has no grand universal order to it. Instead, you get these patterns, these orderings that just kind of emerge locally, almost like little eddies in a stream. They're real, sure, but they're temporary, and they don't have any sharp edges. And so finally, our scientific theories, including quantum mechanics, they aren't describing some fundamental truth of the universe. They're just our perfectly crafted, human-made tools for analyzing these fuzzy local patterns. And that's why probability works so well. It's the language we came up with for exactly that job. So what this all leads to is a fantastic philosophical showdown. Is the whole point of science to find a pre-existing hidden order that's already out there? Or is it about making order,
by drawing lines around the patterns that we're able to see.
Okay, so let's put these two views side by side. In Tooth's camp, reality has a deep, fundamental order that makes quantum mechanics an incomplete theory, and our use of probability is basically just admitting we don't have all the info. But in the critic's view, order is just a local pattern. That makes quantum mechanics a perfect human tool for that specific job. And probability? Well, that's just the language we use to talk about a reality that doesn't have neat, clean borders. I mean, both paths can lead you to a predictable universe, but they describe two totally, profoundly different worlds.
And that leaves us with this final, really big question. When we look out at the universe and we figure out its laws, are we pulling back a curtain and revealing its true hidden machinery? Or are we just becoming better and better storytellers, crafting this elegant human story to make sense of a reality that doesn't actually have a story of its own? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me on this one.